It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action as Borussia Dortmund against Celtic in the Champions League with James McFadden and Liam McLeod.
The acid test is what Brendan Rodgers described this match as at his media conference here at the Signal Iduna Park last night, as the two sets of players line up on the far side. And what is an incredible spectacle here. Celtic pitting their wits against one of Europe's best, the runners-up in this tournament last season, Borussia Dortmund. The imagery is absolutely incredible here. The Borussia Dortmund supporters are so colourful anyway with their famous yellow and black. The yellow wall off to our left. The biggest grandstand in Europe, which hosts 25,000 people, all bunched in behind the goal to our left, as the two sets of players shake hands over on the far side. It's the fifth meeting between the clubs. The previous four all came in the UEFA Cup in two ties in 87, 88 and 92, 93. Celtic only managing to win one of the previous four meetings. It was the first leg of that UEFA Cup first round in Glasgow in September 87. Derek White and Andy Walker scored the goals. Murdo McLeod returning to Celtic Park just months after leaving and beginning a 3-year stint here. Dortmund overturned the deficit in the second leg, and then in 92 a Chapuisat goal saw the Germans win 1-0 at home before going to Glasgow and winning 2-1, defying Jerry Craney's goal, which had levelled the tie. So it's been a while that these two renew acquaintance in the biggest tournament of them all, and Celtic are in just blistering red hot form right now. They couldn't be in a better place really to come and take on their biggest challenge of the season so far. We all know about their away record in this competition, just the two victories in Spartak Moscow and at Anderlecht, which was under Brendan Rodgers, incidentally their last clean sheet, as well as Callum McGregor comes over and hands the Dortmund pennant to the coaching staff down below. He'll then join the rest of his side in the Celtic huddle. The Dortmund players in their yellow and black do likewise. Celtic in the green and white hoops tonight. They have yet to win on German soil. In 14 previous attempts, 3 draws, 11 defeats. Tonight might be the night, and they've given themselves a good platform to build on with that 5-1 victory over Slovan Bratislava 2 weeks ago. This is an altogether different challenge though, and it's one the Celtic manager insists his players will be relishing, because this, quite frankly, and at the end of the day, is what it's all about, the UEFA Champions League. And in this magnificent stadium at the Westfalen, Celtic are going to kick off match day 2. They're going to shoot towards the yellow wall, the southern end of the stadium, right to left as we watch, high above the Celtic dugout and technical area. The first touch of the ball will be from Arne Engels, who's played here twice before. He's lost both in Augsburg colours as he rolls it to McGregor, out to Taylor and then to Bernardo on this near side. Celtic will want a lightning quick start here. They want to see lots of the ball and try and frustrate the home team as Taylor knocks it back off Adeyemi on this near side, and it will be a Celtic throw-in inside the Dortmund half.
Well, straight away, you know, Celtic, I know they've got kick-off, but pushing, you know, Engels going forward, Kuhn, Kyogo and Maeda, who we expect on that, you know, last line of defence, and trying to gain control of the game as early as they can, and it's no surprise to me.
The smoke from the pyrotechnics making its way across the stadium from right to left as it goes out to play again on this near side. So Celtic throw again, but they've advanced up to about level with the Dortmund penalty spot on this near side. Taylor with the throw-in, looking for Bernardo, and he's going to win the corner as well. It's come off Emre Can, who's stretched and hurt himself in the process, so he might need some attention here in the opening minute of the match. And Celtic have the game's first corner.
Yeah, I think Emre Can's in trouble here. It was a throw-in, as you said, in line with the penalty spot to Bernardo, who kind of rolls Can a little bit. He makes the challenge and obviously gets, you know, the touch in the ball to knock it out for the corner, but straight away, you know, his teammates were waving for the physios to come on, and hopefully, you know, you want obviously Celtic to get a result here, but you just hope it's not too bad for Emre Can.
There's a player Brendan Rodgers knows well, took him to Liverpool, and he's back on his feet. Looks like he's going to be okay. He scored Germany's 5th goal against Scotland in that Euro 2024 opener in Munich back in June. But he's walking. It doesn't look as though he's in too much discomfort, so Can will be back on. But Celtic have this corner kick opportunity from this near side. It looks as though it's going to be an in-swinging delivery and a chance to get this in on top of what's been a suspect Dortmund defence recently. Arne Engels is going to take it. An in-swinging corner, drives it towards the 6-yard line where it's cleared by Guirassy. And it drops to the halfway line where Johnston heads it out to this near side. Kept in play by Engels, who then knocks it back off Pascal Gross, who just signed from Brighton in the summer. And another feature against Scotland in that tournament opener. And it's out for a Celtic throw-in in the near side. Taylor to take. Goalless in the opening couple of minutes here. Louis Sahin, the Dortmund coach, took over in the summer. There have been changes in the squad, changes in the management team since they were in the Champions League final, and Celtic have given it away. Guirassy comes forward, turns away, under pressure from Bernardo, rolling it back to Gross. Now it's with Can, and shifted back there to Anton, and out to Jan Couto, who's on loan from Manchester City, the Brazil international at right back for the home team tonight. And then Anton again to Couto, under pressure from Maida. He's all the way back to his keeper, Gregor Kobel, Swiss international.
An early threat for Dortmund, you know, Celtic with a throw in just over the halfway line. Paulo Bernardo fakes to go towards the Dortmund goal, comes back inside, the ball's thrown across his body, but he's outnumbered, and Dortmund then, you know, showing their speed in their counter.
Opportunity to drive forward, Karim Adeyemi. It's 3-on-2 all of a sudden. Tries to slip it to Guirassy. It's blocked. Still Adeyemi gets a second chance, dancing into the box, all the way to the 6-yard line. He goes down, and it's clear by Johnston. Well, that was lightning from Borussia Dortmund. I'm talking about Celtic wanting a lightning start, and it's been a positive start from them. But that's Dortmund flicking into life for the first time.
Yeah, it is Adeyemi running at the back line. They had an overload, and I have to say Liam Scales does brilliantly because he doesn't dive in. He holds his position. Adeyemi goes for the little reverse to Guirassy, and Liam Scales gets a block in, but when he picks it back up, he's just dancing through players like they're not there. Adeyemi, he's a real danger, but in the end Johnston and Trust to do enough to snuff it out.
Julian Brandt firing it to Adeyemi. He's at the edge of the Celtic box, just to the right of the D, flicks it to the right hand side. Couto digs the cross out just to the left of the penalty spot. The shot on the turn there from Ryerson's blocked. And it's picked up on the far side by Pascal Gross, nods it forward, it's dropped to Alistair Johnston, and he finds Kuhn, back to Johnston, and then infield to McGregor. Celtic playing themselves out of a troublesome area pretty well on that occasion as McGregor rolls it along the grass to Taylor on this near side.
Very well, Liam, because it's in the right back area, and it looks like Dortmund are going to put Celtic under pressure, and a lot of the times we see it where it's maybe just a clearance and try and take the pressure off. Johnston to Kuhn, back to Johnston, into McGregor, out the other side to Taylor. That's the type of composure Celtic are going to have to show at times.
Lovely spin there by the Englishman Gittins. Now he's stretching his legs, and he might get the break of the ball. He comes through, he's in on Schmeichel, goes round him, Schmeichel brings him down, and Dortmund have a penalty. Yellow card for the Celtic keeper. It's brilliant play by Gittins. Swerved his way, slalom past a couple of challenges. Schmeichel's caught in the hop, brings him down. He got a fortunate break of the ball, Gittins there, and now they have a penalty to try and take full advantage of their fortune.
Yeah, again, it's the speed. Gittins tries to play it inside, it comes off Trusty, and he's the quickest to react. Schmeichel comes out. No complaints from Schmeichel either. I think he obviously knows he's taking Gittins down, but he's out, and he speaks to Alistair Johnston, telling him, I can only imagine, to try and, you know, snuff that out as source. But, you know, again, you know, Dortmund showing their speed in that attacking zone.
There were several interested in the penalty. Guirassy certainly wanted to take it, but he's been overruled by his captain, Emre Can, who is going to take it. So Celtic, the first bit of adversity that they have faced this evening, and it comes in the shape of an Emre Can penalty after the foul by Schmeichel and Gittins. Celtic keeper stands on his line, centre of his goal. Chan waits to take. He's got 3 goals already this season. He's the former Liverpool midfielder. Brendan Rodgers brought him to Anfield. Is he about to drive a dagger into Rodgers' Celtic side early in the piece here in the Westphalia? Here comes Chan, big intake of breath. Now he starts his run up, right footed, scores right down the middle. Schmeichel dived to his left, but Chan thumps it home and goes to celebrate over there. And it's an early blow for the Scottish champions in Dortmund. Borussia 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, this is a brilliant penalty from Emre Can. Just little stuttered run up, trying to psych out Kasper Schmeichel, waiting for him to make the first move, which he does, and dives down to his left. He just lifts it high into the net. And this is a huge test. We knew that it'd be a test for Celtic from the first whistle. How are they going to respond to going a goal behind? Because Dortmund have looked really dangerous in the opening minutes of this game with their speed, their direct running in the attack. Can Celtic get their composure back? Let's see what kind of reaction you get from them.
Emre Can takes his season's goal tally to 4, and Celtic are going to have to do it the hard way in the Champions League away from home yet again. Ball into the midfield and a foul on Johnston. Celtic have a free kick right of the centre circle. You could see that Adeyemi and Gittins were beginning to get into gear, and you could see the Celtic defence struggling to deal with them.
Yeah, I mean, Adeyemi, lightning fast, quick feet as well, dribbling.
There's a chance down the right for Celtic. Early ball looking for Kyogo as Engels, and they've drawn the corner, headed behind there by Schlotterbeck. And this is a chance for Celtic with a corner over on the other side this time. As they attack the goal to the left, Engels goes over to take. He's got Kuhn as a short option and uses him. Here is the German on German soil. Gets the cross in, headed away by Anton. Picked up by Johnston. Celtic recycling it with Callum McGregor over on the far side. Low ball forward to Taylor. First time out to Engels. Bends the cross. Paul Ince. Good. Maida's there. Maida scores. Celtic level. Just a minute or so from going behind. And the Celtic fans up the other end celebrate. A wonderful ball in from the right-hand side. Maida ghosted it in front of the defender and right in front of Dortmund's famous yellow wall. Celtic's Japanese star this season, Daisen Maida, makes it Dortmund 1, Celtic 1.
Well, I was interested to see what the reaction would be from Celtic, and it's been excellent. 2 minutes later, back level. Just previously, before the corner, Arne Engels had a chance to put it in and trying to whip it beyond that back line for Kyogo to go and attack. They get the corner, and when it comes back to Engels, it is an outstanding delivery, right in the centre of the goal, right in between goalkeeper and defence, in the middle of the 2 central defenders. Maida gambles, puts it into the back of the net. It's a wonderful goal from Celtic, and it's an unbelievable response.
Well, after a brief VAR check, the goal stands. The Celtic fans celebrate again. Brilliant from Maida. He's had so much praise heaped on him, rightly so, by his boss over the course of the last week or two. And he described him as, what was it, one of the best pressing, chasing players in world football just now. And that desire from Daisen Maida that Brendan Rodgers talks about has been rewarded with the equalising goal here.
Oh, without doubt, he's coming off the left-hand side and making a run that a striker would make.
There's a chance though, Adeyemi trying to get in behind Trusty from Brands. Ball! And Dortmund are in front again! Adeyemi, by a deflection, rifles it home! And we've had 3 goals in 3 minutes here in the Westfalen, and Dortmund have their lead back instantly. Brilliant run from Adeyemi, took on Julian Brandt's pass and fires it home. The deflection takes it past Schmeichel, and it's Dortmund 2, Celtic 1. What a start to this game.
That's an incredible start, and it's Adeyemi coming off that right-hand side. He makes a run just off the back of Austin Trusty. The pass is played, he's got too much speed, he's got too much strength. Trusty gets back inside, and as Adeyemi takes a shot with his left foot, Trusty sticks out the left leg, which takes the deflection beyond Kasper Schmeichel, who can't stop it. Again, it's that threat with the pace from Dortmund and Adeyemi. It's not ideal for Celtic, but what a game we're having so far.
2-1 Dortmund, and Callum McGregor's just giving it away. It's not often that happens. Here's Pascal Gross forward there to Guirassy back into his own half for Slaughterbeck. Over on the left, it's Gross again. He gets it back from Brandt, turns it into the centre circle. A big hoof high into the air from Anton. Will take it right through to Schmeichel. It's a real shame for Celtic. They didn't get back on terms and just have a period of calm in the game. They've conceded pretty much directly from centre.
Yeah, I mean, the response to going, one behind was really good. You could see there was composure. They weren't rattled, and they just never had a chance, as you say, to set, to establish that. The goal they scored and try and get a bit of control in the game, and that's what happens when you've got the speed and direct running that Dortmund have, particularly in the wide areas. Adeyemi coming off the right and Gittins coming off the left, then they're always going to cause a problem.
Well, we're seeing numerous examples right now of Dortmund players ghosting in behind the Celtic fullbacks, and this is obviously just over 10 minutes into 12 and a half minutes into the game. We've seen several opportunities for the Dortmund wide men as Taylor tries to see it behind for a goal kick. I think it's come off him though. Yeah, it has, under pressure from Adeyemi, and Dortmund have a corner on this near side. They have a 2-1 lead.
He's so quick, because it's not a great header at all from Couto. I think he can bring it down, but Celtic are stretched because Maida's stuck inside, can't get out to Couto. It's just a high looping header, and Greg Taylor looks like he can just see it out. But the electric pace of Adeyemi to go and force that corner, Celtic are going to have to be fully concentrated for 90 minutes tonight.
Pascal Gross comes out to take, right-footed out swinging corner from this near side, and it comes. Guirassy's header is straight at Schmeichel. That's a bit too easy though, you would have to say, from a Celtic defensive point of view. The big Dortmund number 9 doesn't need any help or favours inside the opposition penalty area, but he had it there.
Yeah, he did, and look, it's going to be tough because you look at the players that Dortmund have that can go and attack the ball. Guirassy obviously the main one being the striker. Emre Can's a good size as well. Slaughterbeck, they're a big side in that scenario, and Celtic have Trusty and Scales really that can maybe match up in terms of height. The other ones, Engels you could throw in there as well, but certainly outmatched in that department. All you would say is, it was comfortable in the end for Kasper Schmeichel, and at times when Dortmund get their set plays, they're going to outmatch Celtic in terms of height. They just need to make sure they're switched on.
Dortmund winning it back in the far side, but the ref didn't like Ryerson's challenge, so Celtic have a free kick, which is level with the edge of the centre circle in the hosts' half. Just taken short by Johnston to McGregor, who shifts it right to left of the circle for Scales. Out to Maida, first time ball looking for Taylor. It's cut out though. Then Valdemar Anton goes down and he was fouled. That'll be a free kick to Dortmund just outside their own penalty area. Brendan Rodgers down there, just bending over to pick up a water bottle, looking out at the playing surface, and he'll be encouraged by the fact that Celtic have managed to get themselves on the score sheet here, but cut open for the 2 Dortmund goals. The first for the foul that led to the penalty, converted by Chan. Adeyemi restoring the lead after Maida's equaliser, and we're on the 15-minute mark here. Jan Couto with the throw-in on the near side, back to Anton. He finds Slaughterbeck, forward to Chan, under pressure from Maida. He's all over the Dortmund defender. He's managed to wriggle free of him though, and now it's with Adeyemi. Finds Brandt and Gittins is away again. The first time ball down the left-hand side. Celtic being cut open again. Gittins on the left foot, saved by Schmeichel at his near post. The flag's gone up on this occasion. The linesman clearly feels Gittins had just gone a little bit too early there. But that is yet another example of a ball in behind a Celtic fullback, and all manner of havoc's being wreaked out there.
Yeah, as Gittins with that pace, but Anton does brilliantly initially because Maida is all over him. He does well to wriggle away, and by the time they beat the press, the options they have going forward are incredible. The speed they have. Gittins cutting onto the left foot, gets a shot away. It's a really good save from Schmeichel, who obviously didn't know that it was offside, but the threat they pose in the counter is really quite impressive.
Some route they had to the Champions League final last season, I suppose. In this competition it always would be, disposing of the likes of Atletico Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, PSV, That long ball for Maida to chase, trying to get it behind the fullback. You might do so, actually. Maida has it, chops back from Couto, back onto the left. Low ball across, doesn't quite reach Kyogo. And it's cleared there. One of the Dortmund defenders on the 6-yard line is Adeyemi. Picks it up inside his own half. Finds Schlotterbeck, who's done brilliantly on the slide to knock it forward to Brandt. Down the left-hand side, Gittins ahead of him. Steps away from Nicholas Kuhn. Momentum's gone from the Dortmund attack for now. It's rolled short to Chan. And then Gross turns it to Anton inside the centre circle. Takes it out to this near side. Low ball to Yan Couto. Infield to Adeyemi. And then back to Anton. Just looked like for a moment there Celtic were in.
Yeah, it did. Great ball in behind Maida. He's got him in the back in attack.
Yeah. No respite for Celtic. Just now McGregor trying to stick with Couto. He gets it cross in though, and it's flicked away, I think, by Trusty in the end. Scales was there too.
Yeah, I think it was Scales.
Cross comes in, the header, Adeyemi's wide. Well, Celtic are struggling here. They're struggling to deal with the speed of the Dortmund attacks. And but for Liam Scales' intervention there, Guirassy was surely getting a header on target.
It was an outstanding header from Liam Scales, because Couto would get free down the right-hand side. He whipped a lovely ball in, just near post area. Guirassy right behind Scales. He's at full stretch, running back the way, and just flicks that header on.
McGregor misses the header, Brandt has it, he slips it through, chance here, Gross pulls it back. Should have shot, and he's pulled it behind the two strikers, Gittins and Guirassy. And Celtic can come away with it. They're being ripped apart here, the Scottish champions.
Yeah, Gross on this occasion. Little run outside. I have no idea why he's tried to pass it, because the goal's there for him. It's not a brilliant angle, but it's one we're so used to seeing. The strike back across goal into the far corner. Celtic are able to get back, regroup and defend that situation, but they're going forward at will here, Dortmund, getting in behind, causing Celtic problems. Previous to that, you know, Maida just gone forward, great run in behind, great speed, cuts it back onto the right, then goes back down the left, flashes it across. Kyogo, the obvious target. Dortmund defend it well, but since then, 2 or 3 attacks of their own, looking really dangerous.
Callum McGregor picking up the scraps in the midfield, in his own half, left of the circle, back to Trusty. He plays it to his right for Johnston, forward to McGregor. Kuhn's on the march on the right, but McGregor's ball goes straight into touch over on the far side. A couple of loose ones from Callum McGregor tonight so far. He was in trouble as well. He misjudged a bouncing ball, which almost led to that opportunity for Pascal Gross. Anton doesn't get onto it. Maida putting the pressure on, goes out of play for a Celtic throw-in on this near side, although the ref seems to be pointing the other way. It's gone Dortmund's way in the end. And then the clearance from Anton's charged down by Bernardo. Played almost 20 minutes. Dortmund 2, Celtic 1. And Celtic hanging on a little bit at the moment, and it's about getting through this yellow and black hurricane that's coming at them. And Maida finds McGregor on the near side, infield to Taylor, and Maida to Bernardo. Wonderful football. Bernardo's ball forwards, cut out by Adeyemi though. Chan on the stretch finds Gross, rolls it into the centre circle here for Ryerson, who loses out to Kuhn, but Chan's on hand to ensure Dortmund retain possession. It's played forward to Guirassy over on that left-hand side, where he finds Gittins, who scored twice on match day 1 in Belgium. Dortmund's 3-0 win, albeit they were tested that night. 3-0 kind of flattered them, as Adeyemi picks up and squares it to Chan. He's got Ryerson over on the left-hand side, Norway international. Back to Chan. And then Schlotterbeck rolls it into the centre circle for Anton as they try and find a way through. Couto's early ball, they give it Adeyemi in behind Scales, who to be careful. He deals with it well though. Uses the left foot to get it clear. And then Bernardo goes down, fouled by Anton. Free kick to Celtic. The Dortmund defender with his arms outstretched in protest at the decision. And it's Dortmund 2, Celtic 1, approaching the end of the first quarter of the match.
That was good defending again from Liam Scales, because that ball's in, that little inside channel. Adeyemi making the run just off the back, and he has to get it spot on. Scales, he reads the situation very well, deals with it, and Celtic then get control of the ball. But you just feel that any mistake that Celtic make in possession is pounced upon. And Dortmund, you know, the speed and their passing, their running, He's such a threat.
Celtic need to try and take the sting out of this somehow. And there's another loose ball to Taylor this time. It's in behind his captain. McGregor trying to help. It's Gittins coming forward. Good slide challenge by Johnston. Chan under pressure from Engels, who wins it back for Celtic. And now it's with Nicholas Kuhn coming out to this near side. Fires it into the feet of Maida. There he's Shaheen down there, the Dortmund coach. So like he's still on the pitch, the way he's going on down there, kicking every ball. As Maida trips over the ball, and Dortmund pick it up again on the near side through Jan Couto. Not exactly been infallible at home, Dortmund, in continental competition. They've only won 8 of their last 17 home European games. Only lost 3 of those right enough as they come forward again. Guirassy finds Brandt, the little back heel. Guirassy sets himself, and it's shot saved by Schmeichel. Left foot effort. And a couple of really important saves from Celtic's Danish keeper is keeping them within touching distance of Borussia Dortmund, but only just.
Yeah, it's a great save again from Kasper Schmeichel. Stands big, great play from Dortmund. Guirassy into Brandt, little back heel to Serra. Gets the shot away, but it's a good save from Schmeichel. I said it before the game, he's going to have a good game. He's going to have to be making saves, and especially the way Dortmund have started this game, they've been electric going forward.
In truth, he's not had much to do since arriving at Celtic, Kasper Schmeichel. He only conceded 4 before tonight. In comes the corner for Dortmund from the far side, headed away by Kyogo. It's picked up over there again. Pascal Gross swings it in. There's a chance there for Slotterbeck, and somehow he puts it wide. How on earth was it so easy for the big Dortmund defender to get goal side of the Celtic defence there? And it stays Dortmund 2, Celtic 1. May well have been offside anyway. Another nervy moment though for the Celtic fans.
It was. Trusty. No, if he's offside, then you can say he's in a good position. But I did just wonder, as the ball goes back out wide left for Dortmund, Alistair Johnston's going out to try and put pressure on the ball, which is what you need. But you need to make sure you're switched on as well in the centre, because if that comes back in, one player's out of position, then you're in trouble.
Referee there, Jose Maria Sanchez, the Spaniard, giving Celtic a free kick in the middle of the park, which eventually makes its way back to Schmeichel. No ball to Scales. Out to this near side, Bernardo. First time to Maida on this near side. Maida now driving away from Jan Couto. He's done well. Early ball looking for Kyogo. Cut out by Slotterbeck. Straight back to Maida. Bends for goal. He's not that far away. We're right behind that. He just couldn't get enough bend and curl on the shot to cause a problem for Kobel in the Dortmund goal, and it stays Dortmund 2, Celtic 1 on 24.
Yeah, and I'm laughing because Maida obviously made the run down the outside, flashed the ball across, he ends up on the deck, and the ball comes out, shock, he's back up, and he's the first one to react to win the ball back. And you're right, you're just waiting for that to curl, doesn't quite get the bend on it, going for that far post. But after that, he limped away just a little bit. I wonder if he's landed a bit awkwardly on the slide as he goes to try and put the ball in, but hopefully he'll be okay because he's a huge outlet for Celtic.
I was mentioning the Dortmund coach Shaheen, but that's a dreadful ball. He's giving it straight to Adeyemi, and Scales slides in to prevent it getting through to Guirassy. It's another unforced error that you simply don't see Celtic make domestically.
No, and look, you can understand it because they're playing against a high level opposition. But Greg Taylor tries to lay it back to Scales, lays it back short. Again, Scales reading of the situation, how to, not to get excited and commit and go and try and meet Adeyemi. Also aware of the run of Guirassy. It's played up the side again, that little ball that Dortmund have used to great effect, but he reads it well, slides it out. Of course, Celtic now have to go and defend the corner, but it's much easier than a shot at goal from the middle of the box.
Throws to take right in front of the Celtic fans. Outswinger with the rights, headed for goal. Schmeichel will hold on comfortably from Slotterbeck this time, and it stays Dortmund 2, Celtic 1, 25 and a half on the clock. I mentioned coach Shaheen down there. He had a brief spell under Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool. There was a little bit of fun between the two of them in the build-up to this one. They felt he didn't get his chance at Anfield, but in fairness, he'd Steven Gerrard and Jordan Henderson in their prime ahead of him, so always difficult in that kind of situation. He was on loan from Real Madrid. He's only 36. He's taken the reins here, and as Taylor rolls it forward to Maida on this near side. Couto all over him. Maida as well. Back to Taylor. Now it's with McGregor. McGregor stepping away from Brandt and turns it back to Trusty. Left-footed ball, low out to the right-hand side for Kuhn, who's got a little bit of space to work in here. Nicholas Kuhn, early ball looking for Arne Engels. Comes too far close to the goalkeeper though, and Engels can't get anywhere near it, and it stays Dortmund 2, Celtic 1.
No, but it's a good idea. Kyogo had made the run across Slaughterbeck, which left that space open for Engels to make the run in behind him. Kuhn spots it, it's a huge space, just overhit, but close to being right for Celtic.
Schlotterbeck deals with that well there. He had a massive say in Dortmund getting to the Champions League final last season. And Schlotterbeck, Gittins picks up on the far side. England under-21 international. And it's back in the midfield. Gerassi's gone quite deep to get onto it. Wonderful season with Stuttgart last term. The Dortmund number 9, he started well here too. There's Gittins over on that far side, just rolling it back to Ryerson. Looking for the big switch here. Out to Couto, he keeps it in play. Taylor manages to get onto his control though. He used the head, but Taylor was there to sweep it back into the Dortmund half. And Celtic have done well in the respect that the second goal went in on 11 minutes. We're almost in 28 and the scoreline hasn't got worse because they've been under the cosh. And here they are again. Adeyemi through to Brandt. Johnston covers across just brilliantly. A combination of he and Trusty to deny the space which looked like it was opening up for Julian Brandt there. It's another nervy moment for the Celtic defence. Well covered by Johnston though.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be. Celtic, you know, they're getting stretched because we spoke about the pace, the threat from Adeyemi and Gittins, but particularly down this right-hand side for Dortmund. Adeyemi's going playing a bit narrower in front of Greg Taylor almost, which is then, you know, the threat is kind of run off Liam Scales. But Couto's getting so high that the switch of play is on, and Greg Taylor's having to pick Adeyemi up and then go and put pressure on Couto at the same time.
Goes for the corner, and it's flicked away by Scales. Maida looks to get there ahead of Adeyemi's lost out. Adeyemi goes for goal! It's unbelievable! That is an unbelievable third goal for Dortmund! Class written all over it from Adeyemi, who picked up left-hand side of the box. Everyone's expecting him to cross or pull it back. He's rifled it through Schmeichel, who barely saw it coming. Celtic are in a tailspin here in the Signal Iduna Park, but it's now Borussia Dortmund 3, Celtic 1 on 29 minutes.
It's an absolute rocket from Adeyemi. And I was surprised as well that he took the shot on because he's wide, it's almost the corner of the 18-yard box. It looks like he's going to just flash it across goal with pace, and he goes for that near post. Schmeichel, he's in that area, but I think he's expecting the cross as well. But the power on the strike, takes it high into the net. Schmeichel gets a glove on it, but he can't keep it out. I think it's just the sheer surprise. He's had a shot from that angle, and the pace in the shot high into the near top corner. You have to say Dortmund have looked dangerous. They deserve to be, you know, have the 2-goal cushion because of how dangerous they've looked.
And Celtic bang up against the ropes here. Adeyemi's just doubled the season's goal tally so far. 1 goal, 2 goals tonight takes him to 4 for the season. He's beginning to break through into the German side, and what talent they have, and how disappointed they were that they didn't win their home tournament in the summer. And Adeyemi couldn't get a look in to that team.
Yeah, they've got quite a few good players in that position,
to be
haven't
fair,
they?
yeah. Well, Musiala and Wirtz both started against Scotland with Havertz, didn't they? But he's running the show out there. He's got 2 of them following on from Chan's penalty. Maida had Celtic level, and that feels like a while ago now.
I mentioned before the game, I was here a couple of years ago. It was for Man City against Dortmund, and Adeyemi was the standout for me because he's, you know, pace, he's direct running without the ball as well. He was going and putting, you know, the Man City players under pressure. He looked really impressive that day. So he is a top player. The speed and the change of direction, the quick, close control, and as you know, as we've just witnessed, power in that strike as well, the accuracy.
Incredible finish. And just where do Celtic go from here? In many respects, this was a bit of a free hit tonight because having won on match day 1 against Slovan Bratislava, they've taken a bit of pressure off themselves because I think we reckon about 9 points would be enough to take you through to the knockout playoff round. The top 8 go straight to the last 16. The 16 below them go into that knockout playoff round. The 8 bottom sides, if you like, the final 8 will all be knocked out of Europe completely. There's no more parachuting into the Europa League, as there was for the team that finished third in the old group stage, as the yellow cards flashed there at Pascal Gross over on the far side for a late challenge on Engels. Celtic have a free kick over on the far side. Where do they go from here? 2 goals down now, and still loads of the game to play.
Yeah, I mean, like, Dortmund have looked really dangerous when they've gone forward. Celtic, although the 3-1, they've not crumbled under any, like, the pressure. They're just, Dortmund are firing at the minute going forward. They've still tried to knock the ball about. They've still tried to get themselves, in behind and use their threats. I think it's just trying to, maintain that. But you're getting an overload down either side every single time Dortmund go forward, whether it's Adeyemi on this side or Gittins on the other side. They just have to, maintain their composure and try and, limit the opportunities for Dortmund to get in behind that back line, which is easier said than done.
Well, they simply can't afford for the scoreline to get any worse as Johnston slides in on the far side. It's a robust-looking challenge on Ryerson, who's back at his feet now. It's a Dortmund throw, which is going to be taken over there by Brandt. And he bowls it back the way, and it's onto the halfway line for Schlotterbeck. Rolls it out to the far side. Here's Ryerson, midway inside the Celtic half, back to Gittins. And then he moves it back into his own half for Schlotterbeck, who finds Anton just inside the centre circle. Long right foot ball down that left-hand side. Johnston will have to be careful. Comes off, I think, the head of Ryerson, and ends up going back into the gloves of Kasper Schmeichel. Dortmund 3, Celtic 1. Match day 2 in the Champions League. Celtic haven't won in Germany, and they're not doing themselves any favours. Bernardo's giving it straight to Adeyemi up the edge of the box, and he fires it past the right-hand post. But again, my goodness, the power Adeyemi gets in these shots. And that was another one. If that's on target, Schmeichel's struggling. And that was another unforced error, this time Paulo Bernardo.
Yeah, there's been quite a few where it's a square pass or a backwards pass slightly. Celtic have players going forward and they want that pass played maybe in front, or just maybe take the extra touch. Adeyemi is on it in a flash. Greg Taylor's doing all he can, but he wants to go inside. He's going inside. He's got the pace, he's got the strength, and as you say, it just seems to open up for him. Tries to whip it, reverse it near post, and it does go wide. But as you said, the power that's on the strike, if he hits the target, then it's making it more difficult without doubt for Kasper Schmeichel. But Celtic need to limit those little slack square passes inside. If you're going to take the risk, put it forward. Allow Kuhn, Kyogo, Maeda to go and chase it. If you play it in front of Dortmund and behind your own players, they're not even have to run that far to get the counter. They're already in the position to counter attack.
Dortmund in possession. Anton into the midfield for Gross. It's work to get into. He's driving forward. He's in space. The Celtic defenders running back towards their own goal. Gittins with a step over. Rolls it to the left for Ryerson. His cross cut out by Johnston. Dortmund corner. 10 to half time. They lead 3-1 to the hosts.
Gittins and Adeyemi, when Celtic are on the attack, or when the positions they pick up are inside the pitch, and the game's stretched then by Ryerson and Couto, and the ball can either be played straight out wide for either fullback or straight into feet for Gittins or Adeyemi to get turned. And exactly where you don't want them is to get turned facing up defenders. Their feet are so quick, they can change direction, shift it left or right.
Corner's about to be taken over on the far side. The Dortmund left as they attack the goal to the right. Schmeichel comes, decides to punch it away, and Maeda completes the clearance at the edge of his own box. Emre Can will pick it up just inside the Celtic half, rolls it to Adeyemi, who turns it into the centre circle for Ryerson, out to Jan Couto on this near side. Level with the edge of the centre circle, out to the right touchline for Brandt, and he rolls it back to Couto, to Brandt. Run forward from Anton, the centre back, stayed up, still interested, potentially adding his name to the score sheet. Adeyemi goes back to Ryerson, and now he retreats to his central defensive position. It's picked up by Schlotterbeck. he rolls it to his left for Ryerson. Stabbed forward to Gittins along the deck. Gittins has it left of the circle. McGregor trying to challenge him. That's with Anton. Out to this near side, it's with Jan Couto. Couto infield to Adeyemi. Forward to Brandt, back to Adeyemi. Dortmund looking for another one. They managed 4 here against Bochum at the weekend. They've come from 2 down on that occasion as it's worked to Ryerson, left-hand side of the box. Rolls it to the edge of the area, and Schmeichel is to dive to make the save to deny cross. The latest opportunity for a rampant Borussia Dortmund who lead 3-1. They're knocking on the door looking for another here.
Yeah, they are, and it's great play. You know, patient build-up along the back, waiting for someone in the Celtic side to break ranks. It's Maida, and then they get the other side.
Taking a short corner this time now with Jan Couto, over hits the pass, the cross, and it comes right through to Schmeichel. Dortmund 3, Celtic 1. Early ball, looking for Daizen Maida. He's going to chase it. Chandler's brilliantly though. He gets there just before Maida gets the block challenge in and wins it back for his team. There's just no respite. Daizen Maida's there and Nicholas Kuhn are excellent ball carriers. Gets the team up the pitch, but they're just not being allowed to do that tonight.
No, they haven't really had the opportunity to go and really run in behind or go and get 1v1. A couple of occasions Maida's done it. He has had joy, but it feels like, you know, Dortmund are in control at the minute, where they're knocking the ball about, they're looking comfortable in possession, but when they go and beat that press and get beyond the speed and their attacking play, and the numbers they get forward as well, it makes it very difficult for Celtic, because you're asking then Kuhn and Maida to focus more on defensively.
A long ball for Jan Couto. If he can control Celtic, could be in trouble, and he has done. Level with the penalty spot, thinks the ball back. Adeyemi takes it down on the left. He's gone down, having tried to take a touch on the right. The referee's pointed to the spot. Dortmund have a second penalty. Adeyemi fouled inside the Celtic penalty area, and this is going from bad to worse for the Scottish champions. They are being taught a lesson here.
Yeah, they are. Again, it's a space down the right-hand side. Maida goes to try and put pressure on. The ball's just lifted into the middle of the box, and Adeyemi gets his foot up. I'm not sure who gets the contact, but he hits the deck straight away.
It's Arne Engels, I think. We don't have a monitor in front of us. Now, Emre Can took the first penalty. Dortmund looking to score a 4th here. 6 minutes out from half-time. And just as the national team suffered in Munich, Celtic, the Scottish champions, are suffering in the North Rhine-Westphalia here. And Guirassi's going to take this one. He's got 4 and 4 for Dortmund. He's 30 and 30 for Stuttgart last season. And he's looking to score Dortmund's 4th goal here. The big number 9. It's the whistle from the referee. Here he goes now. It's right-footed, and he scores as well. Schmeichel gets right, but doesn't get there. And Serhou Guirassy makes it 5 from 5 in Dortmund colours, and celebrates with his teammates in front of these stunned Celtic supporters. Utterly stunned, because the scoreline here, and bear in mind we're not even at the interval yet, is Borussia Dortmund 4, Celtic 1.
That's emphatic from Guirassy. Steps up, goes for power, whips it to Kasper Schmeichel's right, who dives at full stretch. But the power and the accuracy gives him absolutely no chance to get anywhere near it. And it's not a flattering scoreline for Dortmund. They've looked so dangerous going forward. So much speed, so much threat.
Guirassy, you suspect that name is going to be chanted here plenty this season, as Taylor rolls it back to Scales. And 2 of the 4 goals have come from the penalty spot, but they've had numerous other opportunities. The possession, Dortmund enjoying 58% of that at this point. They've had 10 goal attempts, 7 on target, 4 have gone in, and Celtic are in big trouble in Germany. Here's Adeyemi picking up, and he's rolled it through to Brandt, looking to cut it back. Scales blocks it. Julian Brandt's back heel goes straight to Callum McGregor, and now it's with Maida. As a dreadful touch. Adeyemi shoots and scores! Oh dear, Celtic are being thrashed here. Adeyemi grabs his hat-trick in spectacular fashion. The low effort into the bottom right corner of the net. And Celtic are having a horror show here in the Westfalen. But it's now on 41 and a half minutes. Dortmund 5, Celtic 1.
Wow. I mean, the ball's coming to Dyson Maeda, who's backing off. It's coming out towards the left channel. He's backing off, waiting for the ball. He takes a touch inside him, but straight to Adeyemi. Touch out his feet, smashes it low and hard. Great pace on it again to the near post. Schmeichel no chance. The amount of mistakes that Celtic made in possession, in and around their own box, just inviting Dortmund to go and line up, play the killer pass, have a shot. It's quite remarkable what we're witnessing at the minute.
And Celtic been torn asunder here, and Adeyemi's hat-trick is completed before the break. And just where does Celtic go from here? I mean, it must be so dispiriting. How on earth do you try and negotiate the rest of this football match when the scoreline is as it is and you're not even at the halfway stage yet?
It's tough because we've spoken a lot about Dortmund, and you know they've been composed and patient when they've had the ball at the back, but when they go forward with such intent and speed, and when they have the ball they look dangerous. But for Celtic, they're giving away simple passes and comfortable possession in and around their own box. They're helping Dortmund rather than, you know, having a bit of control, getting the ball forward, trying to use the players that can cause problems.
Celtic up the pitch here. McGregor gets it to Johnston, right hand side of the Dortmund box, comes back to Taylor as a swing at it, and it's blocked. And now Adeyemi picks up the scraps and is driving forward again. Guirassy, Brandt trying to get up and support. He's managed to squeeze it through Demny Chan. He's inside the penalty area. Chan with the back heel goes straight to Schmeichel, and it will stay at 5-1 for now.
Comes from a block shot on the edge of the box. Callum McGregor does brilliantly down the right hand side. It eventually gets down to Taylor, who takes a shot that's never on. Comes off, I don't know what defender it was, maybe Anton, and falls straight to the feet of Adeyemi, who's beyond the Celtic midfield, running at that Celtic backline. And Chan makes up so much ground to go and put himself in a position, potentially get a shot away. Tries to be too clever, the back heel into the arms of Schmeichel, but that comes from good possession, good play from Celtic in and around the edge of the box. And Dortmund again just showing that threat and speed they have in the counter.
Frightening. I mean, this is as good a team as I've seen take on any Scottish side in the Champions League in recent years, and we've seen some good ones. This has been an electrifying performance by Borussia Dortmund. I mean, 2 of them are penalties. That was a dreadful touch from Maeda at the edge of his own box. So 3 of the goals, Brendan Rodgers will say those 3 are avoidable. Absolutely. At least those 3 are avoidable. He'll probably dissect the other 2 as well. But Dortmund could have scored more than the 5 that they have done, and we're in the final minute of the first half.
Well, that's the point I'm making. Dortmund have been very good. They've looked extremely dangerous whenever they get, you know, into attacking situations. They're getting overloads down at each side of the pitch from both full-backs, and they're getting a helping hand from Celtic. I mean, I'm not saying they're gifts, because Adeyemi's strike still, you know, it's a brilliant strike, but you're just asking for trouble when you're taking that risk in and around your own box and you're not really set for the pass. And it's not amazing pressure from Dortmund, it's just that Celtic are making unforced errors.
Celtic took a quick free kick there and it almost worked. Maeda to Kyogo, who tried to return the favour, but his pass was too heavy. And it comes right through to Kogel in the Dortmund goal, and pulled out to this near side. We're in the first of just the 1 minute of stoppage time at the end of the first half, which can't end quickly enough for Celtic. The only problem for them is they've got to come out and play another 45. Here's Jan Couto on this near side, forward to Brandt. Manages to work it out to this near side for Couto. Straight onto the chest of Taylor. He finds McGregor, and now it's Engels. Turns away from Brandt and finds McGregor, and now to Scales. To Taylor, and back to Liam Scales. And there's the half-time whistle. And a quite awful 46 minutes as it was for the Scottish champions, who beat Slovan Bratislava by the scoreline there, being beaten by here at half-time against last season's runners-up. A quite incredible performance. Chance penalty 7 minutes in set the tone for them. Maida cancelling that out within 2 minutes as he ghosted in behind the defence to bundle it home. But then the Adeyemi show began. He scored twice. One of them was outstanding, and the smashed finish from the left-hand side of the box from the angle which roared past Kasper Schmeichel. He completed his hat-trick in the first half after a Guirassy penalty, and those goals going in the final 5 minutes of the first half, and it's been a complete collapse by Celtic, who've suffered some of their heaviest European defeats in the Champions League in the last decade. 5-0 at home to PSG, 7-1 in Paris, 6-1 and 7-0 in Barcelona. 3 of those under Rodgers, 1 under Lennon. And 6-1 reverse came less than a year after their famous victory over Barcelona in Glasgow. But the away problems that they've had on the road in Europe are continuing into this season, it seems, because at half-time in the Westfalen, it is an incredible Borussia Dortmund 5, Celtic 1.
Celtic in the Champions League.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Goal! Celtic score!
Previously on the good, the bad, and the unexpected with Mark Nelson.
Today I'm joined by Nicola Meehan, Gareth Much and Brian Nash from Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Who's had the worst ever pocket dial?
I accidentally dialed Bernard Sumner from New Order and got me just singing this lullaby to him down the line.
Wow.
You're probably more in tune than him.
There's plenty of twists and turns as well-known names share their good and bad tales.
She was like, oh, Gareth, there seems to be a bit of a problem with the boiler. It's playing up. When she said, take a look at the boiler, my first thought was, is she talking about the kettle?
Listen now on BBC Sounds.
The good, the bad and the unexpected. Fridays from 1:30 on BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, a Champions League edition of the programme. Pat Bonner and Tom English alongside me in the studio. I really don't know, Pat, what to say, how to describe what we've just witnessed in that first half. How would you go about trying to sum that up?
Shock. And I know, looking at the pictures coming in from Dortmund, that Brendan Rodgers is also in shock, and he hasn't been able to do anything to stop the flow of this game. And that's his job. That's his job to do it. There's a litany of mistakes. You know, players giving the ball away resulted in goals. But also that structure, we talked about it. You know, he said before the game, they have belief and courage, handle the stress and pressure. As the goals started to go in, I think they've struggled under that pressure. They haven't been able to handle it. And let's talk about that midfield. They've gone with how they've played all season. So the analysis of Celtic by Dortmund would be very simple. Mm-hmm. They've exploited the spaces absolutely down the side of Callum McGregor. You've got Paulo Bernardo and Ingles push forward. You've got Callum McGregor sitting. Brandt I'm trying to pronounce his name now. Adeyemi.
Yeah.
And Gittins has absolutely destroyed us in those spaces. Mm-hmm. And Adeyemi in particular, but also Brandon. When you look at the goals, they're almost, Celtic are forced to go to the ball. There's huge space on the opposite side where they exploit, and then that's where that's where the danger comes from. So that structure in midfield has come. He's played obviously with the two wingers and a striker. So they play with three players that's almost out of the game when they have to go and defend. So that leaves, you know, a back four. The two centre halves can't come out into those areas because they're up against a very quick player in Guirassy up front. So they have got to hold their position, and McGregor's pulled across towards the ball, and then the opposite side is totally void. And that's where good teams exploit you, and they're able to exploit you. And looking at it, Celtic haven't done anything about that. They just
Why is he not changing at the manager, Pat?
Well, it's up to the players also to adapt on the pitch. You know, if you're getting a roasting and you've got McGregor's got to pull Ingles in beside him on that side, and Bernardo, and press the ball wherever side it's on, but the opposite side has also got to be sort of almost defended properly. and they're watching the ball, and then suddenly the other players are getting in between them, getting in behind them, and then when they get in there, lightning quick. You've got to stop it from developing first and foremost, and that's where I see it. Just watching the pictures, James will have a better opinion of it probably by watching the big game in totality. We're watching on the TV, but you can see where Celtic have been totally exposed in that middle of the pitch. Yes, they've made big mistakes. But the big mistakes has come because they're on the back foot and they can't operate defensively as a team. The structure's not there for me.
It's almost role reversal from Saturday evening, Tom, because we're watching the game at McDermott Park saying this could be any number. And you feel exactly the same with this game tonight. It's an absolute doing.
Yeah, it's a spectacular shellacking. But you look at Brendan Rodgers has got form on this. Lost 7-0 against Barcelona, lost 5-0 against PSG, lost 7-1 against PSG, lost 6-0 against Atletico Madrid. He said yesterday that he's going to try and make his team hard to play against, difficult to break down, and variations of the theme. He hasn't done any of that. And even when it's been obvious after 10 minutes, and it's 1-1, but Celtic are on the back foot and they've done well to be at 1-1. It's obvious then. Everything that Pat said, it was obvious then. Brandt was finding all of this space. Now, it's clever movement, but Celtic have been spooked and they're giving the ball away, and this is a very good team, playing very well tonight, and they've been ruthless. And Brendan Rodgers doesn't seem to have done anything, tried to do anything about it. These players, their heads have gone completely.
They look lost, don't they? They look fragile, they look lost.
Yeah, they're playing against a very good team with loads of pace. Like, pace is destroying Celtic tonight. Their own errors, but their own errors are being forced by the fact that they know what Dortmund can do if they make an error. So that makes an error even more likely, because they're fretful. They're worried about what will happen if the pass doesn't go from A to B. That makes it harder to make that pass when you're thinking about what might happen if you don't make it. And Dortmund have been ruthless. They've been utterly brilliant. It could be more. That's the fact. It could be 6 or 7 at half time, and this is a monumental doing.
Yeah, Adeyemi is playing over on the opposite side that he normally plays on. He's coming in off Greg Taylor into that space. Greg Taylor's got a problem. Do I go in there, or do I pick up Couto, who's overlapping? So he's going to half and half, and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't get tight enough, and he can't get tight enough to Adeyemi. And then Adeyemi gets, and they're able to play through the lines, penetrate you. And then when they get into those positions, they're really good players. So you have to stop them from getting in there. You've got to tighten up in midfield and hopefully force them down the outside and try to get away from it. Away with it. I don't know. I'd love to hear from James.
Come in on this, James. I mean, just your overall observations of the game and what you think Brendan Rodgers can do to stem the flow.
Well, I mean, he could well, as Packy suggests, put someone in alongside Callum McGregor and try and stop those passes getting up the side of him, because Adeyemi and Gittins, although they're playing as in a front three as the supposed wide men, they're coming inside. Couto and Ryerson are stretching the play, and Greg Taylor, Adeyemi's picking up a position just inside Greg Taylor, which means he needs to pick him up. But the switch of play means that because Maida's quite narrow and you don't want him playing as an extra, playing in a back six as almost like a wing back and picking Couto up, Taylor has to start inside. When the switch of play happens, go and put pressure on, and then either Scales needs to shuffle across, or one of the midfielders you would think would then come into the space that Adeyemi's in. But it's the same on the other side. They haven't been able to adjust to that, and the speed, look, I can totally understand it, because the speed that Adeyemi and Gittins not only can run without the ball, but with the ball, they're so, keep the ball so close to them, they can go either way. So much speed, such a quick change of direction that it's almost the lesser of the two evils to say, right, well, I'm going to go and pick him up, hopefully he doesn't get it feet, and if the ball switched I can go out and try and put a block on. But they're not doing it quick enough, and Dortmund are cute because they've got a lead, they don't have to force it, so they knock it about the back. Someone breaks ranks, if it's Maida, Kyogo or Kuhn, and then that's them got the control, because
the big threat of Celtic, as we've spoken about in terms of pressing and trying to, defend from the front, is the energy and the pace that those three press with. As soon as you're past it, then you've got an overload down each side. Celtic try and narrow up. There's still space because they're good players. Adeyemi has been outstanding.
Absolutely.
But Gittins, even when he picks it up, you're thinking, this guy's so quick, he can go either way. And then you've got the experience of Gross and Chan and Brandt that know when to go, when to pick up the space, when to play the pass, how to affect the game without actually touching the ball. It's been very, very difficult.
James.
I have to say, at times the ball has been played up the side, and I'm not saying he's been outstanding, but Liam Scales has put a number of blocks and slide tackles to stop balls that are threaded in between centre back and full back for Dortmund to then get chances in the box. They've just blown Celtic away this first half.
Yeah, James, just looking at the midfield, you obviously have Bernardo and Ingles in there. They've been told go and try and put a bit of pressure on Gross and Kahn when they have the ball, especially at the back. McGregor then has a role to play on his own across that back four. You then have two players coming into those spaces either side of him, and they're just playing little balls in there. McGregor comes across to one of them, and they'll exploit the other side of him. Somebody has got to come in there. Then Celtic are playing with Maeda and Kuhn higher up the pitch alongside Kyogo, more or less. That structure that Celtic have set up, if you were going out to play against that and you were trying to set your team up, you would know how Celtic were going to play almost a week. That hasn't changed from what Celtic did since the start of the season. So that's how Dortmund have exploited Celtic tonight.
I mean, Pat, Liam was suggesting in commentary there perhaps this could be seen as a bit of a free hit tonight, given it's the level of opposition. The way I would look at it is this was a chance for Celtic to show tonight they have learned from previous European campaigns. They can compete better away from home against the big teams.
Yeah, I don't think any game's a free hit when you play with Celtic, to be perfectly honest. For me, you've got to go out. We talked about performance. We've been shocked that it's 5, but it's not even the goals. It's the almost what happens before the goals, yeah, and how the whole game has developed. And Celtic's structure has not allowed them to have to compete here. Then the pressure comes on. Then they start making mistakes, and then it almost goes from bad to worse.
Celtic were either trying to win this game, draw this game, or lose it by restoring or maintaining their pride and leaving with their heads held high. That means it's not a free hit. They went there with very clear objectives, and they're all blown to smithereens. And it's all the space, and it's Dortmund's quality, but it's also Celtic's kind of mental implosion. And you look at some of them, all the space that Dortmund are finding, but also Adeyemi, the third goal. Alistair Johnston comes out to the ball and he makes himself small. He turns sideways, and he gives Adeyemi a shot at goal. And obviously Schmeichel is not expecting it, but poor defending from Alistair Johnston. Maeda provides the assist for the hat-trick goal for Adeyemi.
Yeah, but
what is he trying to do there? He knows he's boxed in. He plays a pass too heavy, and Adeyemi's on top. He knows he's surrounded.
I understand that, and that's what people will say. We give goals away, and we did this and we did that. But you've got to look at the bigger picture here and how it's developed that situation. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that I talked a lot about structure before the game. I talked about defensive structure, making sure you defend in a collective. They're so open, Celtic, to be exploited. Frightening. Yeah.
And Kyogo has hardly a mention, has he?
No, he hasn't. He's had nothing to. Nothing to. Yeah, has he had a pass? Has he had a kick? There's nothing going on for him. He's running around. He's putting the effort in, but there's nothing happening for him. And it's one-way traffic, and it's 5-1. It could be more. It could well be more if this keeps up. I don't know what Brendan does at half time, but he's going to have to rearrange this just to try and keep it at 5, because with the form that Dortmund are in here, this could go to 6, 7 or 8.
Again, we go back to half-time at McDiarmid Park. We were asking that question, will Celtic be ruthless? Will they kick on, go for more goals, as they did? And Dortmund are perhaps in a similar position tonight. They know what's there for them, don't they?
But it goes back, and I know Brendan Rodgers has to big up his team, right? Domestic after the domestic start of the season, and has been very, very good. But I think he has overestimated how good his team is and how ready they are for a job like this.
We'll talk more after the game. Finished Salzburg 0, Brest 4, Stuttgart 1, Sparta Prague 1. Elsewhere, Arsenal 2, PSG 0, Barcelona 3, Young Boys 0. As we've been hearing, Dortmund 5, Celtic 1, Inter Milan 1, Red Star 0, Leverkusen 0, AC Milan 0, PSV 1, Sporting Lisbon 0, and Slovan Bratislava 0, Manchester City 2. Let's get back to our commentary team in Dortmund. That is James McFadden and Liam McLeod.
2 changes is what Brendan Rodgers is going to do for the start of the second half. Rio Hatate and Alex Valle have come on, and they're replacing Paulo Bernardo and Greg Taylor respectively. Dortmund unchanged. The Celtic players take a while to get back out there. Dortmund 11 ready to go. The second half Celtic could do without right now. Dortmund will kick off, going from right to left, wearing the yellow and black. Celtic in the green and white hoops will go left to right. Dortmund shooting towards the yellow wall. The Spanish referee there, Senor Sanchez, is ready to go. He's checked with the TV floor manager, and he's the whistle to his lips, and he starts his watch, and the second half in Dortmund is underway. Just where do Celtic go from here? They need to try and save some kind of face and save some kind of respectability. They're not going to win this game quite clearly. They never won on German soil, that's gone. They've got to try and ensure that this doesn't threaten their record European defeat, which is a 7-goal defeat against Barcelona. Of course, they lost 6-0 to Atletico Madrid in Spain last season. So that's got to be the aim for the second half. Simply do not come out of here with a record defeat.
Yeah, first half they will feel embarrassed and ashamed at times, but make sure it's not completely embarrassing. Come out, try and salvage a bit of pride, and I know people be like, oh, you hear all this nonsense all the time, but they can't come out and continue doing the same things, expecting a different result, and coming out of this game, you know, with the scoreline remaining the same, because the first half at times on the ball not good enough, silly mistakes against the ball, the shape, allowing, you know, Dortmund to have total control in the game, whether it's, you know, the front three trying to get the press right, or just sit back and allow Dortmund to, you know, roll the ball across the back line and wait until you're actually set, till you go and try and win the ball back.
Well, there's a problem for Adeyemi. He's gone down over on the far side, off the ball I think as well, so the medics and the home team are coming on to see him. I don't think Celtic would be too disappointed if he had to exit stage left, the man who got that hat-trick in the first half. Celtic lining up the second half with Schmeichel in goal, Johnston, Trusty, Scales, Valle, Engels, McGregor, Hatate, Kuhn and Maida with Kyogo. Dortmund, Koval in goal, Couto, Anton, Slaughterbeck and Ryerson, Chan and Gross, Adeyemi, Brandt, Gittins and Girassi. Will Adeyemi be able to continue? Doesn't look as though he's going to be able to continue. I think they are going to make the change here. There's a hamstring issue for Adeyemi by the sounds of things, so they're clearly not going to take any chances with him. But the guy who's coming on is pretty handy as well, in Julian Gironville, the young Belgian, made his senior Belgium debut alongside Celtic's Arne Engels in the Nations League last month, number 16, and it's a sad end for Karim Adeyemi's evening, a memorable one for him, scoring the hat-trick in the first half, but he's having to come off early in the second, and whilst Adeyemi coming off is clearly not going to be greeted with tears by the Celtic players, Gironville is a massive talent.
Yeah, I mean, you always worry because, you know, the game's done and Adeyemi, the hat-trick. And I think there was a bit of frustration from Nuri Sahin that maybe he should have, you know, made that decision just to protect him. Look, anything can happen in a game, but you're right, you know, it wouldn't matter who comes on. They're going to have good options going forward. Gironville, exciting young talent, something that Dortmund are renowned for identifying, bringing into the team, giving first team football too, allowing them to flourish, particularly the attacking side of it. I expect him to give Celtic maybe not the same, pose the same problems, but certainly cause enough of a problem.
He joined the club a year ago from Anderlecht, Tironville. 2 caps for Belgium now. The Belgians going through a transitional period. Celtic giving away a throw in. Valle was looking for McGregor, but now it's Girassi who's onto it. He's taken away from him. I think maybe McGregor got a touch onto it. Here is Hatate. Rolls it to his left, and Valle has it, and he's looking to slip it through to Dyson Maida. He's overhit the pass though. Colwell comes out to the edge of his box, finds Chan, who mops up, and it's out to that right hand side for Jan Kuto.
He's overhit it, but it's the wrong option. He's trying to split the defence. Maida held his width slightly. He wants that ball in front of him or to his feet. It's a very, very difficult pass to play that in between full back and centre back. And look, I know Celtic are used to doing it, but you've just fixed the mistake in the throw-in, the slack throw-in. You've allowed a good opportunity to go and get Maida running in behind and overhit the pass. It's part of the problem for Celtic tonight.
Here goes Gittins, driving forward, rolls it to his right for Brandt. The right angle of the box, the dummy there from Geranville is really good. He's going to get back onto it. It's over, hit his touch though, and it goes behind for the goal kick over on the far side. 5 into the second half. Dortmund 5, Celtic 1. And if they can somehow get to full time even 5-1 as it was at the break, they'd probably sign up for that right now, which is a sad state of affairs for the night. But Schlotterberg's coming through, it's in behind Girassi, and Hatate's able to clear to Engels.
Yeah, and answer your question about would they be happy if this remained the same after that first half performance? I think they would take it, but there's another slack pass from McGregor.
Ball, yeah. Gittins has it now on this left-hand side, level with the Celtic penalty spot. Back to Brandt, the left angle. Into the area, he gets it back, does Brandt. Now to Pascal Gross. Girassi couldn't find Geronville as he was trying to. Celtic getting away. Schlotterbeck picks up. So we see Adeyemi taking his seat down in the dugout. There'll be ice going on that now, I would have thought. As Gittins turns it back to Ryerson and then to Schlotterbeck left of the centre circle. Looks up, left foot chip ball forward into the chest of Gross, who controls, finds Brandt. And back to Pascal Gross. Switches it to the right hand side here for Jan Kuto. Level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box, finds Brandt, gets it back to Kuto. Edge of the area, rolls it to Gross. And chip ball it to Geronville on that right hand side. Back to Brandt. Little move from Jan Kuto ahead of him. He goes back to Geronville on the far side. Valle gets in the way, but it's bounced straight back into Dortmund possession. And then Waldemar Anton collects and decides to roll it all the way back to his goalkeeper. It is Kogel out to this near side for Ryerson, up the line for Gittins. Celtic have to just dig in here. As Trusty goes back to Kasper Schmeichel, whose European Cup winning dad is sitting just in the row in front of us. And there's Trusty outside the play. It's a throw into Celtic, and Miri Shaheen down there is, even though his team's 5-1 up and cruising this, he's upset the throw and hasn't gone his way. 52 in, 5-1 Dortmund.
Yeah, look, they're not going to take the half off Dortmund and just coast the victory. They want to make a statement and score more goals if they haven't made a statement already.
Here comes on the left hand side Anton with the ball forward. His cross into the Celtic box is cleared. Picked up though by Emre Can. Rolls it into the feet of Gittins. Back to Can. Outside football back to Gross. To the right of the centre circle for Jan Kuto. It's back to Schlotterbeck, who fires it out to this near side for Gittins, and Celtic cannot get a touch of the ball. Albeit Johnston wins it off Gittins. The home fans thought that should have been a free kick, but it's been given away by Johnston. Here's Chan. Rolled to Brandt. Geronville to his right. He's on it. Right angle of the Celtic box. Couple of step overs. Little shimmy, and then he passes it back the way to Kuto. Brandt to his right. Low ball forward to Gross. And then over to the right hand side for Jan Kuto, who finds Brandt, and then Kuto again. He's now with Schlotterbeck, getting it from Anton inside the centre circle. It's a long ball with the left foot. Headed away by Valle, on loan from Barcelona. Far side, Duranville picks it up and he's teasing and tormenting McGregor, and Bailly pulls it back to the edge of the box. The shot at goal is beaten away. Ryerson with his side foot instep effort from just outside the D. Schmeichel makes the save, and it stays Dortmund 5, Celtic 1.
Yeah, they're going to continue to get chances, Dortmund. Celtic have sat a little bit deeper, almost inviting Dortmund onto them. They've still got the same options. They've tried to make the pitch smaller, but Dortmund still have the same options, and they still just keep giving the ball away.
And Ganassi rolls it to Duranville, right hand side of the box, right foot effort, and Schmeichel saves down low and puts it behind for the corner. Though Duranville should probably feel he ought to have done better with that one. It stays 5-1. Yet another chance for Borussia Dortmund.
If anything, they've started this half worse than they started the first half, because they're slack passing, they're giving the ball away, they're not, allowing themselves any time in the ball, Celtic. And Dortmund are in the recovery, phase, still in a good attacking positions. It was a really good save from Schmeichel at full stretch to tip it round the post.
He didn't quite get enough power in it, Duranville, either. It was a good save because it was coming at him low as the corner comes in towards the back post. Flicked away by Scales, and behind on the reverse side for another Dortmund corner. They attack the goal to the left. And Celtic have negotiated the first 10 minutes of the second half without the damage getting any worse. As Pascal Gross goes out there to take their latest corner. Outswinger with the right coming up. Celtic have everyone bar Kuhn back to defend this. Bit of movement just to the left of the penalty spot where Trusty and Scales trying to stay with their men. In it comes. Anton made a good run, so did Schlotterbeck. It's come into the box and flicked away. Duranville keeps it alive. It's now with Chan. It's an angle ball into the area which comes off the head of Kyogo. Gross has it. Right hand side of the box. Pirouettes away from Kyogo. Level with the Celtic 6-yard line, being forced out to the corner flag. Kyogo sticking to his task, desperately trying to at least win a throw-in for his team over there. In the end, Callum McGregor dumps it out, and Dortmund have a throw-in level with the Celtic penalty spot.
Here's something you don't want to say. Great defending from Kyogo. He's in that position, he's in the left-back area. He reads the run. He does well with the initial header. He does well then to put pressure on and stop that attack, but you want him to be running in behind and scoring goals and getting chances. But that's the way it's going to be for Celtic this half.
There's Callum McGregor scampering ahead of Brandt to win it back, shifts it to his left for Hatate, who comes forward and looks to fire it forward towards Kuhn, who might get in behind here. He's behind Ryerson, right hand side of the box. Kuhn with the outside of the left effectively passes it straight to Kobel, with Kyogo waiting on the left hand side of the 6-yard box. A real letdown, and chances are going to be few and far between for Celtic in the second half. The game might have gone, but they can bring more respectability to the scoreline by scoring themselves. It stays Dortmund 5, Celtic 1.
Yeah, and give themselves some hope and confidence. Hatate just waits to play the pass at the right time. It's not perfect, but the bounce is enough to get by Ryerson. Kuhn's got the run on him. He goes with the outside of the left. Look, we've seen him do it before. We know he's got the ability. He's trying to play Kyogo, who's made that run we always see to the back post, and if he gets it right, then he has a tap in.
Celtic have it. They played it out well from the back on this occasion, though Hatate's switch of play has eventually been picked up by Kuhn to backtrack to get onto it. Now he runs across the halfway line on this near side. Kuhn looks up, looks for Kyogo, overhits the pass for the left, and it's right through to Kobel, who holds on.
Yeah, Hatate's trying to switch of play and just bend that round to Nicholas Kuhn, but it gets the top spin on it and it goes straight, but Kuhn's alert to bring it, get it under control. Kyogo makes a run, but again it's an overhit pass. Probably the right idea, just overhit.
Adeyemi's been the scourge of Celtic this evening, off the pitch now. Hat-trick in the first half. We saw that big chance he had, James, in the final last season when he went round Courtois, and I think it was blocked by Carvajal, wasn't it? And he actually set up the chance a couple of minutes later for Füllkrug, who hit the crossbar. They had their chances against the great Los Blancos.
Yeah, they did. Look, they're a good side. Disappointing league campaign last season, and look, there might have been a bit of fortune in their Champions League campaign, but you don't get luck all the way to the final. You know, it shows you they're a good side. Maybe not firing all cylinders this season either, but certainly have been tonight, with a little bit of help from Celtic, or quite a bit of help from Celtic. But we knew the threat they would pose in the attacking play. Real exciting players. It's clicked for them at times tonight, and as I said, they've been helped along the way by Celtic and some slack passing, which isn't really like them.
Yeah, 6 of their starters tonight started the final in London in May. They're going to make a couple of changes in a moment, or Dortmund. And it is Celtic in possession here with Austin Trusty on the halfway line. Rolls it forward to McGregor, and then to Johnston, back to McGregor on the halfway line. We're going to bring on Bayer and Mecha in just a moment. It's Trusty and Johnston for McGregor. It's going to be a triple change, in fact. Celtic give it away on this near side. Dortmund have it back here with Julian Brandt. Fed forward there for Gudasi's, pass to Geronville, cut out by Scales. James highlighted Liam Scales at half-time, and he has done some good defensive work. He's been picking up great positions.
He reads the game. He reads the game, spots the danger, and manages to get a toe on it, a head on it. It's difficult to single out a defender in a game which 5-1 at half-time, but could have been a lot worse, but for interventions at times from Liam Scales.
Dortmund in possession with Valdemar Anton. Rolls it out to the right-hand side for Jan Kutu. Infield to Chan. We're on the hour mark, 5-1 to Borussia Dortmund, and it's Brandt sweeping it forward to Gittins. Johnston slides in, gets the ball. Gittins goes down, gets back to his feet, as does Johnston. And Johnston's going to get the free kick on this near side. 5-1 Dortmund, triple change coming up. There might be changes for both teams here. The first alteration, we'll see Jan Kuto replaced by the Algeria international Rami Bensebaini. And they're going to bring off Brandt. And it looks like Pascal Gross as well. So Felix Mecha comes on. Another who spent a lengthy time in the youth academy at Manchester City. There's a few of them dotted around Europe, unable to make the breakthrough there. And Maximilian Bayer comes on, and yet another German international. So there's the changes for Dortmund. And Celtic, I think Brendan Rodgers was whistling at some of his subs, so there may well be movement to come from the visitors shortly. 5-1 to Dortmund, with Gross, Brandt and Kuto all coming off in that triple change. But again, it's just quality coming off the bench, isn't it?
It is, and you know that's a luxury that Dortmund have. They can make these changes, knowing the game's well beyond Celtic. It has been for a long time. But as you say, it's quality. These guys have started games at different parts of this season for Dortmund, so it's not as if we're giving run-outs to young, inexperienced players. Experienced players that are coming on.
Ida and Yang are going to come on for Celtic next. As Valle on the far side finds Maida. McDevalle steps away from Geronville. It's a chip ball down the left-hand side. Chasing after it, Ryerson, who switched over to right back, comes to meet him. Now it's Hatate's in the box, low ball across, cut out by Kobo, and then dumped away to safety on the far side by Mecha. 5-1, and that was better from Celtic, and it was really good play by Rio Hatate.
Yeah, it was excellent. Great play down the left-hand side, and Kyogo had made that run. The gap it's not a big one to fire it beyond that back line. You have to say Kobo alert to block it.
Kyogo off, Ida on. Hasn't really had a sniff tonight, Kyogo. That's about as close as he's come to scoring, I think. And he troops off in front of the Celtic supporters. A disappointing night in the Champions League for Celtic's main striker. Adam Ida is a different kind of player. As Celtic pick themselves up a free kick midway inside Dortmund territory on about 10 yards from that far side touchline on the Celtic left. Have they stemmed the tide? Do you think, I suppose, the subs help in that regard? 63.5 in, remains 5-1 Dortmund.
Maybe. Well, it certainly looks like it. Dortmund, have they carried the same threat? I don't think so. But Celtic, you know, those little glimpses of goal certainly gives them a little bit of hope.
Engels with the free kick, comes off the head of Bensebaini and goes behind for a Celtic corner. So this is some real respite for those Celtic players.
I say hope, I just mean to go and build a bit of confidence, and if they can get a goal, then it certainly looks a whole lot better.
Yeah, I mean, even second half 0-0 scoreline in the second half, if they can get a goal and win the second half, it's small potatoes, of course, but just give them a little bit more belief. Engels with the outswinging right-footed corner, it's half away, and Hatate lashes it high over the bar, and it stays Dortmund 5, Celtic 1.
Yeah, well, I know that people don't want to hear it sometimes, but you definitely go in if you're 5-1 down and say, don't concede any more goals. At the very worst, don't concede any more goals at the very least. And some people might not like that, but that's what happens. You don't want it to get 6, 7, 8. It's already embarrassing for them. The players will be feeling that. They don't want it to get any worse. Can you go in there and nick a goal? Can you get some sort of, you know, confidence from the second half? Doesn't mean that, you know, oh, it's great, you know, they've come out, and if they can hold on and not concede any more goals, then that's, you know, wonderful. But it just means that you've stemmed the tide and you've stopped it from becoming really embarrassing.
Oh, it's a careless back heel from Bensebaini, puts it out for a Celtic throw-in here, about level with the edge of the D of the Dortmund box. Johnston takes it quickly, but it's easily mopped up by Schlotterbeck with a head. Finds Bensebaini now, with Gittins driving across halfway, up against Trusty. Goal by Gittins out to this left-hand side for Girassi, but loses out to Trusty. And it's the Celtic defender rolling it forward to McGregor, right-hand side of his own box to Johnston, but that's another unforced error. He's given it straight to Schlotterbeck, who's driving forward. Now Girassi has inside the box. Girassi onto the right, scores! Dortmund's 6th goal! And it comes via another error. This time it's Johnston. And Girassi picked it up in the box, turned and twisted away from Trusty, and it's a low side foot finish into the bottom left corner of Kasper Schmeichel's net, and that brings the scoreline to a quite shocking Borussia Dortmund 6, Celtic 1.
As you said, Liam, Celtic do well down the right back channel. They win the ball back, they play a couple of passes. When it comes to Alistair Johnston, he's trying to find the feet of Adam Idah. Schlotterbeck is all over it. It's a slack pass, he drives forward. And when it comes to Girassi, drags on his left, looks like he's going to get the shot away, comes back inside, jigs back out to the left, back inside again. It's a brilliant finish, wonderful striker play, but again from a slack pass from a Celtic player that is punished from Dortmund. And although they haven't come out, you know, as fast as they did in the first half, they just still look dangerous any time they have the ball going forward.
6-1, and you start to look at the record books. 7-0, Celtic's heaviest European defeat, heaviest margin of defeat. They're still a couple away from that happening, but there you go. I mean, again, just kind of cut their own throats once more. That loose ball on the near side, and there were simpler passes on, and it's the kind of pass that works for them week by week. At home, it's not going to pay off for them in this kind of arena. In this,
but they don't normally play it from that position either.
Yeah. Valle, left-hand side of the Dortmund box, low ball back, comes off a defender. Kobel clears with his foot first time, wasn't sure if it was a back pass. Breaks to Engels at the edge of the box. His effort is blocked by Mecha. On the left, Valle slips as he tries to cross. The flag was up anyway. Dortmund 6, Celtic 1. We're in the final quarter of the game, and it's a match that can't end quickly enough for the Celtic supporters, and for Brendan Rodgers
and the players.
Yeah,
but I know you've mentioned, you know, the sevens. That's against, you know, an outstanding Barcelona, a star-studded PSG. Dortmund have been very good tonight. Celtic have helped them an awful lot as well with their slack passing.
The Austria international Marcel Sabitzer is going to be coming on shortly. He's another class act, and somebody who's part of that Austria team that for many were dark horses at the European Championship in the summer in this country. The stadium hosted 6 matches in that tournament, including England's victory in the semis against the Dutch. And that ball forward is for Celtic's gone behind for the goal kick to Dortmund, and the change will be made. Guirassi's going to come off and Sabitzer will come on. He's come up against Celtic in the past, Salzburg and Leipzig, and he, I think, is going to replace Guirassi. It is. Guirassi's got 2 tonight, 1 from the spot. The other one's a good finish. He's turned Trusty inside out before rifling it home, but it was an absolute gift.
Yeah, it was a gift to give up possession, but still great quality. Can face up Trusty, as you say, twist him inside out, and also find the finish beyond Kasper Schmeichel.
On comes Sabitzer. His previous meetings against Celtic all came in the Europa League. As Anton clears up towards halfway, comes off the head of Aye. Here's McGregor, turns it back to Trusty, who squares it to Johnston on this near side. It's going to tick on to 70 minutes. McGregor gives it away in the midfield. It's going to be rolled back by Bayer to Schlotterbeck on this near side. He was in the team of the tournament last season, Nico Schlotterbeck, in the Champions League. Near March to the final. He's another who struggles to start for the German national team's 2 appearances at the Euros, again underlining the strength and depth that they have under Julian Nagelsmann. This is Bensebaini giving it away on this near side. Engels has it, finds Idal, leaves it for Hatate up to the edge of the area. Hatate shoots over the bar. Dortmund 6, Celtic 1, but it's positive from Hatate, who has made a difference since coming on at the break for Bernardo.
Yeah, he's been, a bit more composed in possession, and certainly, he's had a poor shot from the edge of the box previous to that one. That's a good turn run. He's trying to just bend that with power into the far top corner, and it is just over the bar, but I think he has, looked at times the right time to take an extra touch, to play that pass, try to have an impact in the game, which is difficult, especially when you're coming on at team 5-1 down. Can be tough.
This left-hand side, Schlotterbeck.
Mecha just made a run in between Valle and Scales. Neither of them noticed it. And luckily for Celtic, Schlotterbeck didn't either.
Sabini forward to Gittins, little flick out to this near side, goes straight into touch for a throw-in to Celtic, which is taken by Trusty, who pulls it back to Scales. Celtic's next actions in Dingwall against Ross County on Sunday, midday kick-off. Live on Sports Sound Saturday. 3 Premiership games, also that huge one in the Championship between Falkirk and Ayr at the Falkirk Stadium. Before that, Thursday, Dynamo Minsk against Hearts, 5:45 in the Conference League. Hearts opening their campaign in that tournament for the season. That will be followed by Rangers Lyon in the Europa League, 8 o'clock kick-off at Ibrox. Here's Valle for Celtic, cross ball in, is nodded away by Bensebaini, and then Emre Can smashes it up the pitch. It will be slipped forward by Celtic towards Yang, but he can't control. Bensebaini's onto it, looking for Geronville on that right-hand side. Geronville is challenged well by Valle, stuck to his task over there, and then is eventually brought down by the young German. And that will be a free kick to Celtic, a bit level with their own 18 over on the far side.
Yeah, he dealt with it well. Valle, it's a pass and a run that's hurt Celtic this game.
It's a sore one as Hatate clatters into Mecha, I think it was, and the referee's going to speak to him. The Celtic midfielder, Mecha getting back to his feet. The yellow card is shown to Real Hatate. Celtic's next Champions League game's another tough one. Taking on the Champions League runners-up tonight. They're taking on the Europa League winners next, in the shape of Atalanta in Bergamo, coming up later in the month. You knew these were going to be huge tests. Brendan Rodgers described this one as the acid test. Well, they failed the acid test. Just wonder what level Atalanta will be at compared to Dortmund, because they were magnificent in that Europa League campaign, and the only team to beat Bayer Leverkusen, who were the champions in this country, and this Dortmund team is 27 points behind them as Sabitzer takes the corner, flicked back by Anton and cleared by Yang, out for a throw-in on this near side. Dortmund 6, Celtic 1 on 74 minutes just about.
Yeah, Atalanta will be a totally different test because they're so aggressive in how they press. They go man for man, their fitness levels, plus, you know, you're looking at the likes of Adeyemi and Gittins away. They're playing tonight. Adam Lookman's been tremendous for them as well. It's got these are, you know, tests. Where are you? What level are you at? How much do you need to improve? And going on tonight's performance from Celtic, it is going to have to be so much better, because it will be different, and something that, you know, Dortmund have been clinical when they've needed to be. They've shown great control at times, so dangerous going forward. Atalanta will be relentless in their pressing.
Yeah, tough test to come in Italy next up. Much more winnable home games to come against young boys, Club Brugge. The Scales picks up left of the centre circle. Square ball to Trusty, midway inside his own half, back to the right for Johnston. And then back to Schmeichel. Maybe Shaheen out there waving his players forward, telling them to keep pressing. Game's in the bag with 15 to play, but he still wants them to play to their top level. See Manchester City 4-0 up on Slovan Bratislava, who Celtic put 5 past on match day 1 a couple of weeks ago. And is Trusty rolling it out to Johnston, then back to Schmeichel. Dink ball by Kasper Schmeichel out to Valle on the left-hand side. Geronville is right on him immediately. Valle goes down, and the free kick goes Celtic's way, over on the Celtic left.
Yeah, he's done well actually, Valle, since he's come on. Like, he's not up against Adeyemi, so we don't know, you know, how different that would be. But certainly, you know, the switches of play haven't been as frequent. He's dealt with, you know, 1v1 defending. He's looked to drive forwards, put a couple of decent crosses in as well.
Valle picks up forward to Hatate. He's claiming handball against one of the Dortmund players. I think it was Ryerson, but the referee's not interested. Ryerson's passed it straight out of the pitch for a Celtic throw-in on the far side. The ball by Scales, infield to McGregor. A hat-trick from Adeyemi, 2 from Guirassy, 1 from Chan, who got the Dortmund scoring, started from the penalty spot. 7 minutes in, Maida scored Celtic's goal, which briefly, very, very briefly made it 1-1. Brendan Rodgers, hands in pockets. We'll be speaking to him after the game. What do you think's going through his mind right now? I mean, what can he say after a match like this, a scoreline like this? How do you front that up? He's done it before, but how do you do it? I mean, how do you go about addressing it?
Well, it's tough because
Valle putting it across, so Celtic might be in here. Oh, Kobo holds on. Valle did brilliantly down the left, fired the ball across, and somehow Ademida couldn't scramble it in, and Kobo holds on, and it stays 6-1.
That's a sitter from Ademida. Great play down the left-hand side. Look, there is a little nick, and it may be slightly behind him, but you still expect him to score from there, and that would have given, you know, a little bit of glimmer in this second half. But going back to your question about what does Brendan Rodgers say, well, I think that, you know, how he's asked them to go and set up against the ball in terms of the pressing and the structure, I don't know what that is. There'll be elements within that. I think that the amount of times they've given the ball away in positions where they shouldn't be will irk him, and that's definitely what he'll try and address.
Long ball for Maximilian Bayer to chase down the left-hand side. He's given it away though, and then he fouls Johnston, and it will be a free kick to Celtic. It's got a bit scrappy. It probably suits the visitors right now, just to try and get to full time, get out of dodge, and try and put this to the back of their minds. Good games to come. And here's a chance. Geronville pulls it back to Bayer. It might break here to Mensah. He slams it home. Bottom left corner. And the substitute celebrates in front of the yellow wall as he rifles that past Kasper Schmeichel. And Borussia Dortmund have hit Celtic for 7. It is Dortmund 7, Celtic 1, and the suffering just goes on and on for Scotland's champions here.
No, the tempo has dropped slightly from Dortmund, but they're always such a threat. Valle nicks in, tries to go on the attack, overruns it, leaves the space wide open for Geronville. When it comes to Mecca, it's a wonderful finish. Steps onto the right foot, low and hard, power into the side net. And Schmeichel again, absolutely no chance. It's just been a night to forget for Celtic in so many ways. 7-1. I don't think you can begrudge Dortmund that scoreline. Some of the play, the pouncing on mistakes, the making Celtic pay. Sobering night for Celtic.
Yeah, it's now joint second worst, heaviest European defeat as it stands. The problem for Celtic is there's still 10 minutes. The margin 6, the record 7. It's Geronville at the edge of the Celtic box, dancing around, swept away by Scales. Picked up by Chan. And then Schlotterbeck out wide left. Bensabeni rolls it back to Schlotterbeck. Left foot now, rolls it low into the box for Sabitzer. His left foot cross, cut out by Trusty. Dortmund corner. Still 10 minutes, albeit the flag's gone up on this occasion. Still 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, and it's given Dortmund an injection of energy. The goal, unbelievably, 7-1 up. It's just made them probably through a little spell there where it was a bit slower and maybe not as much urgency to go and get more goals. Certainly Mecca getting that finish sparked him into life, sparked the rest of the team into life, and now they're looking at it saying, can we get 8, can we get 9?
And it's going to be a throw into Celtic up the pitch here. Johnston bowling it forward, looking for Yang. It's cut out by Bensabeni and out for a throw-in, which Johnston takes quickly to Ida. Driving down the right hand side, low ball into the box, straight to Valdemar Anton, and he can fire it clear into the Celtic half, but Austin Trusty gets onto it and squares it to Scales. Into Valle on the far side, and Scales squares it to Trusty. Into this near side is with Johnston, long ball forward. Schlotterbeck's underneath it, nods it to Bensabeni, flicks it forward. Mecca also heads on towards Gittins on the halfway line, and then as it came back to Mecca, he fouls McGregor, and that's a Celtic free kick on this near side. And despite his best efforts, despite what he said about Celtic, he didn't think that they'd been better prepared for a Champions League campaign under his 2 tenures. That may well be the case, but it's the same old story, particularly away from home.
Yeah, I agree with that statement as well. I do think it's the best prepared they've been in the best shape in terms of how they're playing. Close to being a settled side. You still get positions up for debate. We speak about the midfield, but it's not because one's weaker than the other. It's just which option is better. Cameron Carter-Vickers is missing, and he's a huge loss for Celtic. But you're at this level where you have to try and compete. And if you have an injury, you expect players to step up, and it's just been a night to forget for Celtic.
Schlotterbeck rolls it forward to Geronville, who's going to get back onto it here, and he's driving away. He's away from Scales, driving up towards the Celtic box. He's in it now, he shoots. Schmeichel saves, drops to Gittins on the rebound. It just wouldn't fall for him, and Celtic get away with that one. Gittins has to roll it back to Sabitzer, and then it's with Bensabeni midway inside the Celtic half, and Mecca gives it straight to Hatate, who back heels it straight to Sabitzer. The unforced error count has been frightening from a Celtic point of view tonight.
I don't think I've ever seen Celtic play so many misplaced passes under very little pressure. Understand if you are getting hounded and teams are in your face and pressing you, then mistakes can happen. But it's been at times in comfortable possession, maybe picking the wrong option, which of course can happen. But so many occasions tonight. And Duranville, he's getting picked up there by Bayer. Just telling him to get his head up. And his eyes would have lit up there, and you could hear the crowd in here as well. They've loved what they've seen, but they want more. They want more goals.
And Celtic had only conceded 4 goals this season coming into this one. 7 on the night. There's still 6 minutes to play of the 90. You see a few of the Celtic players over taking on some water because there's a stoppage. Alistair Johnston is down and he's receiving treatment over there. Celtic will be hoping they can get out of here without one of their key men picking up a long-term injury, but Johnston seems to be in some discomfort. James, I'm not exactly sure what happened.
No, I couldn't see it either. I know that they were scrambling to get back to stop that attack. So I don't know what's happened, whether he's feeling it's muscular or if there's been a knock.
Well, he's back on his feet. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him, but he's going to have to come off. And Anthony Ralston is once again named in the Scotland squad today and will likely play it right back against Croatia and Portugal in the upcoming Nations League double-header. And he's going to replace Johnston for the final 5 minutes plus stoppage time that remain here in this magnificent theatre of football that is the Signal Iduna Park. The massive yellow bars across the stadium, on the roof of the stadium as well, the girders. It's quite the sight, James, isn't it? And Celtic have wilted in it.
Yeah, that is. It was a game that, you know, when it was drawn, it's one that you would look forward to because of this magnificent stadium, because of the stage that you're playing on. And you're right, you know, Celtic just haven't been able to cope. I'm not saying it's because of the atmosphere or, you know, they're intimidated, but certainly Dortmund have been much better side here, and Celtic haven't been able to play how they normally play. It's not a great surprise because there is a huge gap, difference in the levels they're coming up against, but I expected a better performance from Celtic tonight, and certainly what they've put in.
Atalanta, Dinamo Zagreb and Aston Villa are their other away games. But Leipzig at home, it's their next home match. They've also got Young Boys and Bruges, so there are opportunities for points. And as we mentioned in the first half, the experts reckon 9 points will do you. You get through to the knockout playoff round, which will be played in the early spring.
Going off tonight's performance as an away day against a top side, Celtic don't want to be going into that Aston Villa game needing anything out of it, because you know, a lot's been made of Dortmund and Atalanta away being tough games, but Aston Villa, the way that they play under Unai Emery, the players that they have that start the game, that can come onto the game, then it becomes a prospect of, you know, you're looking forward to it, and it's exciting to potentially a bit of dread because of what's happened here tonight.
McGregor out to the far side for Hatate. Knocks it all the way back to Trusty, right hand side of defence. And out to Ralston on the near side. About 2.5 of the 90 left to play here. Ralston knocking it back to Trusty. Trusty just stepping away from Gittins, driving up the line on this near side. Fires it forward, and he does onto this. Adam Ida in behind. Anton comes to cover, and then it breaks off Schlotterbeck when Ida tried to cut inside, and it breaks back to Kobel, who knocks it out for a Celtic throw-in on this Celtic right.
It's brilliant from Trusty, bombing up that right hand side. Ida just takes a heavy touch. He should just get shot away. Tries to cut inside on the left, and it's snuffed out. But just take that touch out your feet, get your shot away, fire it, goal.
McGregor, square ball to Scales. Out to Maida on the left-hand side. And he goes back to Liam Scales again. This will hurt Brendan Rodgers. This is something he's been through before. It's not something he wanted to go through again when he returned to the club. There was the 6 at Atletico, and those PSG maulings in his first spell. As Ida rolls it to Hatate, to the left-hand side, it's Maida. Engels is waiting in the middle. Can't force it home. Has he got a corner? Yes, he has. It's a corner at least as we approach the 90th minute of the game. Dortmund 7, Celtic 1.
Yeah, Spencer Bennett getting in there down the line of the cross. Really good defending.
Short corner to Valle. On the left-hand side, infield to Engels. It's now with Yang, but there's a foul in there by Arne Engels. And Dortmund have a free kick. And we are in minute 90. Closing stages here on Sportsound, BBC Radio Scotland Extra, 810 medium wave on digital, online. Reaction to come, both on the radio and at the website bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. And it's going to be a difficult one for Brendan Rodgers to front up this. He's got to say the right things.
Yeah, I mean, everything coming into the game is about, you know, how prepared the team are, how ready they are for this challenge. And look, there would have been not supreme confidence, but there would have been a good bit of belief and confidence that Celtic could come here, perform and get a result, as we spoke about before the game, based on, you know, what we've watched and, you know, how good a shape that Celtic are in. But this has been a tough night, and one where, you know, tough questions will have to be asked. And look, I don't think many people expected Celtic, or they have no right to come here and win, but certainly to come on and put on a better performance than what they've shown tonight.
3 minutes added. And Celtic 3 minutes away from being put out of their misery tonight. Sabitzer out to Bensabeni on this near side. First time ball low forward to Gittins, under pressure from Trusty and Yang. It goes out to play. I don't think the ref liked the challenge on Gittins, so Dortmund have a free kick, rolled back to Sabitzer. And now Schlotterbeck. They were 27 points behind Leverkusen last season, 10 behind the runners-up Stuttgart, as that big long ball out to Duranville finds him. He's kept it in, right-hand side of the box. Duranville, little ball, infield to Ryerson's cut out. Then he slips as Valle tries to win it back. Valle's done well. And he goes out to play off the Dortmund man last for a Celtic throw-in. Well, there's a positive for Celtic, the second-half performance of Alex Valle.
Yeah. He's defended very well. He's got forward as much as he can, coming in under, you know, difficult circumstances to say the least. He's obviously not come up against Adeyemi. He's had to go off early.
I'm sure he was devastated when he came off.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone in the Celtic jersey was devastated when Adeyemi went off. But Duranville, as you say, exciting young player. You can see the quality he has. Still got developing to do, but Valle, you have to say, he's dealt with it pretty well at times.
Hatate goes down, fouled inside the centre circle. And the closing seconds of the game are upon us. We'll be hoping for better results in Europe on Thursday for the Scottish clubs, with Hearts and Rangers in Conference League and Europa League action respectively. The coefficient has taken an absolute battering in the last couple of seasons as Maida picks up down the left, driving forward as he loves to do. So brilliantly defended by Ryerson. He's on his wrong side and he's given it away in the end, and there's a turn shot from Yang which is pretty tame, blocked on the 6-yard line by Schlotterbeck and cleared out onto this near side where Ralston picks it up. Ralston then out to Engels. Celtic's record signing, he's played here before, has been unable to do anything as Bensabeni fouls him, and he picks up a yellow card, the Dortmund number 5. And the final action of the game, James, will see Celtic have a free kick in an attacking position.
Yeah, look, Celtic have stuck to it in the second half. Still not been good enough. Dortmund shown their quality from start to finish, really. And it's just a tough night for Celtic, one where they have to go and learn, because as we mentioned earlier, it gets tougher before it gets easier for them. Going to Atalanta will not be easy at all. There has to be massive improvements from Celtic between now and then.
Engels takes the free kick low into the box for Ida, breaks to Ralston, but the flag has gone up on this near side. The Spanish referee is going to blow for full time. And it's a joint second worst, heaviest defeat for Celtic in European competition. A team that had swept aside all before them this season so far has been chewed up and spat out here in the Westfalen against last season's Champions League runners-up, who were just too good. The level of performance from those in yellow and black was too high, and Celtic simply could not live with them. A real sobering, bitter night for the Celtic fans who came here in huge numbers. Many of them were realistic enough to know that they probably wouldn't win this game, but they came here with just that bit of confidence that they could bring a positive result back to Glasgow. An Emre Can penalty in 7 minutes set the tone, though Maida equalised less than 2 minutes later. But then the goals just came, and Adeyemi scoring a hat-trick in the first half in 11, 29 and 42 minutes. A Guirassy penalty in amongst all that as well made it a dreadful half-time scoreline of 5-1. Dortmund would only add 2 more in the second half. Guirassy got his second, and the sub Mecha drove home the 7th one with just over 10 of the 90 left to play. The Celtic players down there, it's difficult to know what to do facing your own supporters, but the Celtic fans, in fairness to them, I think are realistic enough to realise their team's been beaten by the better side tonight. And the Celtic players appreciating the effort of their fans right in front of us just now, but the Dortmund players are away off to the left to celebrate in front of the famous yellow wall here at the Westfalen. For Celtic, and unfortunately for them and for Brendan Rodgers, this is a result that goes hanging in the Hall of Shame alongside some of the other dreadful, cataclysmic nights away from home in Europe. In Paris and Madrid and Barcelona. This one's right up there. It was on match day 2 of this season's Champions League. It finished here, Borussia Dortmund 7, Celtic 1.
Celtic in the Champions League. Live